Noticed him fall back. He's making the smart choice and fighting among his defences and structures. So here we go, but I'm unaware of this at the moment, and he's bringing an MCV.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game on Timian map for you. This is the RAGL 10 version of Timian because I didn't select this map. Funnily enough, my opponent did and I joined their game. I'm using Russia and my opponent's using England, but like I say, this is not the 2022 version of Timian that I use. This is the RAGL 10. So the things that have changed are that the oil derricks are at half health on this one. So in the new version I use, they're at full health. And things like this sign, it says RAGL Season X, which is obviously the Roman numeral for 10. So RAGL Season 10, that's out of date now, and bits and pieces like that have been removed. And one or two other little things, apparently annoying bits of terrain, whatever that may mean. Perhaps it's something that interfered with setting up an expansion or base pushing or something, so some bits and pieces have been changed. But we're meeting here. My opponent's going to contest my secondary oil derrick, and we haven't engaged yet, but he has actually got he's got a medic with him, and my guys have just seen, and I thought excuse me, he's actually got a presence here already. And I didn't actually know he had medics, but that was enough. And what I did was I thought, rather than engage there, I'll go and take this one, because I knew from my troops meant to hunt engineers that there was no one there, look. So I thought, right, if he's securing mine, I'll switch to this side. Little did I know, he's just on the same and leaving mine undefended. So I should have left a couple of guys, but my engineer is close to the danger. And I had to group these together. And I actually lost this engagement, basically. I haven't lost it. I've got one more rifleman than the enemy, but I can't, you know, push. And I'll have nothing left to protect the engineer. So it'll be a wasted victory if I lose the engineer. There we go. I'm leaving him there just in case he can intercept an enemy engineer, because I do know that this one's not been taken. I'm also not aware that this one has. But there you go, he's shot my rifleman. Here's another rifle scout. My guy fired first, so his guy's done for. Defender's advantage. It's like a unit has to stop in order to attack a rifleman. Tanks, they don't. You know, they can fire on the move. But, you know, they basically have to, you know, attack. And that means stopping and attacking an infantryman. So that's why the defender who's already stopped will fire before someone who's attack moving. Because they'll see the target and stop and fire. And they're already under fire at that point. But I'm going to secure this oil derrick. And my engineer is dangerously shot dead by one single rifleman. Those engineers are very fragile, so basically I thought, right, I'll have to get rid of this. It's at this point it was early, and I didn't want to. You see, my cash situation can't handle an extra 400 drain on it. No chance. So I destroyed that, but he hasn't captured this one. His engineer's on its way now, so he hasn't. We've got one each basically, and I saw that and thought, right, he's probably expanding forward, because I've seen this player. I've never played this opponent before that I know of, not under this name anyway, but I've noticed him playing against decent opponents. So I expected, you know, I basically expected a strong opponent. So that's why I'm playing it. You know, with Russia, and I didn't mind going on Timian either, but I'm setting up a Grenadier drop. And my opponent's captured his second oil derrick, and he's got this force moving round here, so I'm okay for cash now. My opponent not so much, but he has got 2 oil derricks. Now, my opponent's got a 9,000 army value, I'm at 6,000. That's not good. And a chunk of that army value is not in the battle as well, because he's off making his way to do this Gren drop. So those assets are out of the picture. They can't help in combat. So a small chunk, about 1,000 of that, is also not going to help in battle. So I'm a few grand behind, and I've just built my MCV, my second MCV, and my opponent is moving his MCV into his expansion position, and my APC is moving its way down here just to sit quietly until the right moment. But I knew this was harassing units, so I thought I'd move forward and try and protect that, and my opponent attacked perfectly, so I had to try and turn around and move away, and he's caught my forces split. And light tanks are excellent for pursuing MCVs, so I've lost my construction yard. My second MCV, he's destroyed it, so I can't set up my expansion, and if I move my home base MCV, I can't build at the same time. I'm at 6 grand army, my opponent's at 11.9. Let's see, I'm building a power plant, but when my heavy tank's done, yeah, I'm building another MCV. But my Gren drop is here. It's slipped my mind now. I'm not aware, I've forgotten about it. After that's just happened, look, there's the wreck of my MCV. So no expansion just now. Excuse me, but my opponent's moving forward to a very aggressive position. And he's got a 15,000 value army. I've got a 9,000 value army, so I've got problems here. He's got an aggressive position, a larger army. He's attacking, but he's still got the defender's advantage. So I'm in trouble here. He's 6 grand, more than 6 grand ahead. So that's why I've moved back into a defensive position. I mean, look at my situation. It looks dire. I've got my ore trucks have consumed all the ore, and my force is going to be lucky to stop him. But I've got this Gren drop. Don't forget that I've forgotten it at this point. So I'm moving my MCV. There's the escort for it. A few riflemen, look. It's all I can afford. These guys. But I thought, there's no point defending this, because there's no ore here. I'm going to send all my ore trucks here, place the refinery that's long been ready to place, and gather resources here. Now, I'm bringing my army to protect them, leaving this vulnerable, but I'm actually making a stand here, and I'll let them destroy that and take their time while I make a defence here, and if I need to I can bring units back. That was my reasoning. You see here, this is where I'm actually making a stand, protecting the war factory and the service depot. This can move away if needed, but that was my reasoning. And here's my grenadier drop, but he's been ordered to move with all units, so I don't know this is actually moving there like that. I wasn't aware he's heading my way, and I've realised, look, and my opponent's close. So we're going to have to monitor what's happening here. There's my APC, it's moved back. And here we go. I've had a good look around and seen there's very little to oppose me at the moment. So I've attacked, and he's in low power for some reason. Now I'm attacking, and I've destroyed one power plant while my APC screens my grenadiers as best as possible. Not very well, sadly. Now, I thought I could maybe leave this close to the power plant and let the enemy shots damage it. Look at that, it's nearly done for, but no, it's fine. I realised I couldn't. Oh, and I lost it anyway. But here we go. I decided to take on the enemy. He's in low power, but he's got a second force here attacking my expansion. So I noticed him fall back. He's making the smart choice and fighting among his defences and structures. So here we go, but I'm unaware of this at the moment, and he's bringing an MCV. But I thought, oh, look at that, I've got him here. This is where my attention was. I didn't realise about this. He's destroying my crucial ore trucks, but I've seen it now, and I'm moving away, and then these ore trucks have been ordered away. But I've overrun him here. I'm at 11,000. I'm at 15,000. My opponent's at 12,000. So that has turned the situation around. Although I am still big time on the defensive. I realise my situation is bad. I need to expand quickly. We've got 6 ore trucks each, but my opponent's got more cash than I have. And I'm moving forward, and I saw his placing, moving with a base push here, so I thought, right, I'm hitting him straight away and using my heavy tank advantage that I believe, because of that last engagement, I've got an advantage and I want to use it. Look at that, I've got a nice veteran army, and I destroyed all this here. Now I'm going to trash all this as well, and it may as well not even bother trying to get away. Why bother, because I'm going to annihilate it. But here you go, I thought I'll continue the push. My opponent's not in low power, so he's doing well there. He's at 10,000, I'm at 15. Completely changed the situation, and I've got an expansion set up here. And I'm moving my home base MCV and still continuing the push. My opponent is fighting exactly how he should be. Tanks up front, fighting between structures, and he's doing very well. And I've just managed to get tanks up front at the right point, and now I can take out these. He's in low power now, finally. And I am moving ore trucks to an eco transfer. And this is about to, if I remember correctly, sorry. Yeah, it's an early second war factory placed forward, and I placed a base defense with it, and this is moving forward to a forward expansion. My opponent's in low power, and I was aware at this point that I know I'm up against a player who's good. I've seen him playing against strong opponents on a few occasions, so I can't mess it up and let him take the game back, because a single wrong engagement will lose my advantage. So I've got this eco transfer here. There's nothing protecting it except base defenses, so I have to watch out, but I also need to continue the advance, and I caught him perfect. He was moving infantry around with no vehicles, and it's caught him. And that's it, he's called it, because there's no point fighting on, he's done. Yeah, he's some sort of move command at some point, apparently, and I'm continuing the attack. I can see there's units coming in, but I'm continuing, hammer down. And there you go, there's the first game I'm going to show. I'll go through the graphs and charts, but I think I'm going to add a second replay to this one. But there's the army graph. My army size is less than his within his quite a bit. Up until 9.5 minutes, he's got a larger, far superior army to me. He's doing extremely well. After it looks roughly even until about minute 4, and his army just takes off. But this is obviously where combat starts at just after 8 minutes, 8.5, and we're taking losses, but my opponent's losses really bottom out big time. There's the army graph. Here's the earnings graph. It's pretty even, but I'm behind all the way, look. Still, it's not what you earn, it's what you do with what you earn. And there's my finishing army, a few heavy tanks, group of infantry. And I've got a 14,000 army value at the end. My opponent's lost 14 structures, I've lost 2. My opponent killed 178 units, I killed 238, and my opponent destroyed 37,000 value of my assets. I destroyed 57,000 of their assets. No support powers in effect. Production, I'm still building away. Basics. Economy, I earned 85,000. No, my opponent earned 85,000. I earned 75,000, so he did better with the earnings. As we saw from the earnings graph, I was behind most of the way. We've both got a decent bit of cash, but he's got nearly 10 grand left. It's a shame to end a game and lose with that amount of money, because he could have built a 10 grand army to fight on with. And it happens, sometimes, and often low power's to blame. You can't spend what you got, can't spend it quick enough. And it builds up, and then to end a game like that is, it's not good. You don't like to. I don't like to, because I'd rather spend it and go down fighting than have it left in the bank. But here's the basics chart. My opponent's at 29 actions per minute. I'm at 27. So there you go. There's the basics. There's your score, 360 to 565 to me. And there's all the graphs and charts and basics for you. So I'm going to add another replay onto this one.
Battle control terminated.
Make the post a little bit more substantial. So let's see which one. We'll go for this one.
Battle control
And
initialized.
this is a 1v1 multiplayer game on Woodlands map. And I do like this one. I'm using Russia and my opponent's using Ukraine for this one. And I've started using this one more regularly. You know, in the last week or two, I've started to use this a bit more. And I do like the map. It's a good one. My opponent's going for a refinery before a barracks, which means I'll be getting my 4 engineer hunters into position. I might start sending more, or maybe, you know, I don't know, or maybe send my whole my rifles up front towards the enemy, all of them, like some players do, rather than just a small group. But securing the basics and getting my share of the oil derricks is a fair use of my units. You know, it's all right. And then investing a few rifles to hunt the engineer is worth it. You know, if I can kill an engineer, it's worth 4 rifles, plus it'll cost the enemy time and credits. But his guys have walked straight past mine. Hopefully his engineer won't do the same. And he's sent a couple of rifles towards me. Interesting, I wonder what's going to happen here then. Let's have a look. And my guy spotted him. He's shot him dead. And my guy's capturing, and the enemy detonated barrels, but they didn't detonate that one. If they had, my engineer would be dead. So they should have done that. They'd have made it. So yeah, I clipped their engineer. Must have been a rifle scout. Unless it was a control attack move by accident. My opponent did something, triggered the map alert. But here we go, I've still got my rifleman. I'm checking, see what's going on. So I've seen that he hasn't captured it. And I've got this guy here, just in case. There's another engineer. So he's securing the area properly this time. Oh, look. They're on move command. That would be a shame. Yeah, he's lost 1, so at least he, you know, he paid for himself. But it is very easy to get a rifleman behind the enemy like that about here. It's so easy to do that. You need to protect your engineers more thoroughly than that, more carefully, because it's so easy to get one behind the enemy around here. It only takes a couple of rifles and, you know, you get an idea of where the enemy's units are as the odd one engages. But he's captured his first oil derrick, and this is a vulnerable point. That's why that rifleman was here, to catch the engineer moving between both oil derricks. But I've got my APC, and my opponent's churning out plenty of rifles, but there are no rockets, which is going to be a problem for him. And he's built a radar dome. That's early tech. So if you do build a radar dome early, you have to make good use of it. Like an early artillery unit, something. He's got air units now, so he will have parabombs, paratroopers, and a spy plane counting down. That's all right, you know. But you got to pay for the radar. You got to get the radar dome to cover it. But I've captured his closest oil derrick, one of his 2 closest. So I've secured that. He tried to take it out with a flak truck, but he can't reach it with a flak truck. He's built another flak truck though. And my base has got, you know, basic defenders, a basic amount. Like a decent concentrated attack from my opponent would do some damage now. So my scouts are minimal look here. Very minimal on both sides, but hopefully these guys are covering the central approaches, hopefully. My opponent's got an aircraft now. He's got a Yak attack plane, small group of units. Let's have a look. Army values. I'm at 7.7. My opponent's at 4.8 in thousands of army value. But there you go. You see the Yaks reveal a large area as they circle. So they're very good guard units and scouts. Now I'm escorting my MCV, my second MCV, to my expansion. I'm at 10,000, my opponent's at 5.7. Oh, there we go, there's a second MCV for my opponent, so he's getting his expansion set up. And I'm churning out heavy tanks now. Yeah, my opponent's getting thirsty for cash. He needs some ore. He's got plenty of ore trucks. I guess he's just spending it quickly because he's got these tech assets that are really going to drain his income, because he's building infantry, he's building tanks, he's building structures, and he's building aircraft. And he could be building base defences as well. So it's just going to really drain your income. You better get... And he's got less ore trucks than me. He's got 5 to my 6. So you need to supply that war machine if you're gonna, it's a thirsty war machine if you've got that many things being built at once. Aircraft, infantry, structures, base defences, vehicles. It's that all those things draining your income. It's you have to cover it. But he's setting out V2s and using the aircraft to spot for them, because he'll give him a really good view range and he can take snipes and shot. Look at this, like, I shot his aircraft down, but between them, the V2 and the Yak caused a couple of nice explosions. And I'm moving forward, I spotted this expansion, but as I'm attacking it, the enemy attacking me. And he's got perfect view range because of the aircraft, and by the time I get my tanks into position, I've got no infantry left to screen. So I'm sending this force this way. And I quickly realised I haven't got enough rockets in that group. But I see, the only target I see, because these would destroy a power plant, no problem, but trying to take, it's like 3 rocket troops. I'm trying to take out this airfield, which would have been an effective target, but look at that, the strafes from the aircraft have just gutted my troops. So I have to retreat for no gain. And let's just check the army values after that mistake. 15,000 each. So my opponent has done very well and levelled it up. But I've spread across half the map in this time, and he's got 1 expansion. So he best protect it. And why is he following 1 APC with an entire army like that? And it's a move command as well. He's got it with his aircraft. Fair enough. Take it out, because it, sometimes players park close to the target when they move back, hit and run. So you have to check, see if they're close by, ready to attack again when your attention's away. And he doesn't know, I might have troops in that. But it didn't need the entire army to follow it. And now my opponent's at 20,000, I'm at 19,000, so he's moved ahead nicely. But he hasn't got enough tanks. He's got a heavy tank up front. In fact, he's got 2. Well, that's not enough. You need more than that to protect. You see, he's got more V2s than he's got heavy tanks. You shouldn't have that ratio. If you've got very few heavy tanks, a V2 or 1 or 2 is enough. But I'm hitting this expansion, and I've got thieves. Let's just check briefly the enemy's economy. He's got no cash, so my thieves are slowing my infantry production for no gain. I won't lose money, but I'm getting nothing out of it. But I've overrun him, look, and I've got flak trucks because I know he's employing tech, so I need them to counter artillery and aircraft. And he's choosing his targets, which is excellent, but you need to update your targets, mate. And there you go, there's the parabomb symbol, but I can't see that. I don't get that warning. But my opponent approached from the wrong angle. I've moved on. You see the plane there? He obviously had the arrow going this way, in the direction the bombs are dropped. So he did get a couple of troops and a flak truck, but he should have had the plane come from this direction, and he's called it. So yeah, he was, I just pushed on and attacked. I've got engineers and thieves, and he knows, he will have heard the infiltration, so he knows he's in a bad situation. But like I say, the parabombs, they may have been more effective if he'd have ordered the plane to attack from this direction. And in the old past versions of this, you just order the support power, like paratroopers or parabombs, and the plane comes from the nearest map edge, I believe. So if you're in the centre of the map, you're in trouble, because it's going to come from a long way away and the enemy are lightly moved on, so it limits your effective target choices. But with this, this version, this up-to-date version, when you use a support power like parabombs, you click on the power, and then when you press the mouse button to activate it, you hold the mouse button, you don't let go. You click it and hold it, and then you drag the mouse in the direction you want the plane to go. So say I wanted the troops to land here, I would press the support power here, and while holding the button I'd drag the mouse in that direction, and it would mean I've ordered support power here and then dragged the arrow down, meaning the aircraft will come from here and move in that direction. So you've got far better control over how your parabombs and paratroopers land. And it means if the enemy are fighting a battle here, you can have your parabombs come from here and pretty much immediately drop on them. So, you know, there's a bit more talent and skill to using parabombs and paratroopers more effectively now. You know, it's with that nice little update where they actually come from the closest map edge and you can select where they come from and what direction. But if I was, say, to drop them here and I pointed the arrow in that direction, they'd have to come from there. It wouldn't come from the closest map edge, it'd come from the direction you've ordered it to. And that's what he did. It came from down here, the aircraft did, and it moved over this way in a diagonal pattern. So he's obviously pointed the arrow in that direction over here. And that means the planes come from there, which is no good. You would want to point the arrow down, like I say, but I'll best go through the graphs and charts and not keep yapping on, I should say. There's the army graph. Look at that. That's a heavy drop. So yeah, no wonder he called it. It was probably quite brutal. And there's the earnings graph. We were pretty even, actually, until near the end. Finishing army. I've got a yak, few heavy tanks, couple of flak trucks and some troops, not many, small selection. My support powers are in effect, I believe, yeah, because I've got an airfield over there. But the combat chart, I killed 93 units, my opponent killed 139, so he did well. Those defensive victories over here were good, were effective. But I've got a 14,000 finishing army. I destroyed 28,000 of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 24,000 of my assets. Like I say, the support powers are in effect. Paratroopers and spy plane, although I haven't used them, but my opponent had support powers. He had parabombs and used them. So there were some support powers in that game. I'm still producing basics, refinery, etc. I earned 72,000, my opponent earned 50. I've got 7 ore trucks left, and we've both got a bit of cash. I've got nearly 10 grand. And there's the basics. I'm at 37 actions per minute. That's more than usual for me. My opponent's at 31 actions per minute. So there you go. There's the basics, graphs and charts for that game as well. So I hope you enjoyed both games. And if you like what you saw, give us a sub and a like. Take good care of yourselves, and until next time, goodbye.
Battle control terminated.